Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm going to be talking about the time where I found myself, well, I didn't actually find myself, it was actually after the event that I realised it had actually taken place, where, whether we call it time travel, time space, shift of dimensions, to be honest, you can call it what you like, but I found myself in a different time, or I had moved through time or back in time to another period of time several years earlier. Anyway, before I confuse you with all that, let's just tell you the story, and you can call it however you want. So a few years ago, back in 2017, I moved to down near Mogo, and so Bateman's Bay was my nearest town, and I'd been there helping a friend open a store in Mogo, beautiful little town that unfortunately recently got burnt out with the fires, which is a real shame. And anyway, so we were living there, and I had gone in to do some shopping into Bateman's Bay, and I parked on Orient Street. So if you're local, you'll know where I mean. So I parked on Orient Street, and I'd got a few things there from the post office, and I had to cut quickly across over to the Coles. So there's a little walk, I don't actually know what it's called, a little arcade of shops with a walkway that goes through from Orient Street to Perry Street. And as I say, I don't know what this is called, but anyone local there will know. So it's a little arcade of shops. And anyway, so I've walked through there, and the last shop on the left-hand side is a crystal store. Now, being I was doing crystal healing, and well, still do, but I can't walk past a crystal store without going in, and anyone who loves crystals will know exactly what I mean. You see a crystal store, you have to go and have a look, and you can never actually come out without having bought something. And so I went in and was having a bit of a browse, and I picked up a few crystals, found an absolutely beautiful azurite, which when it flashed in the sunlight was looking like heaven, with the stars flashing. So it was pretty amazing, and I got some clear quartz, I think it was a clear quartz double terminator, which I'll put a photo there. And then a little smoky quartz double terminator. So anyway, I had a bit of a browse through there, and chatted with the owner for a little while, made my purchases, and I left. I went over to the Coles, got the few things I needed from there, went back, got home, and didn't think about it. Oh, and I got some business cards from the owner, because we had been talking about healing and things. So I got home, and later that evening the girls and I were all sitting around having a bit of a girly night and doing some card readings and things, and I said, you've got to see this crystal I bought today from this crystal store at Bateman's Bay. So anyway, we were having a chat, and I went over and got these crystals and brought them over, and they were oohing and ahhing like you do. And didn't think anything else of it. So a couple of days later, my friend and I said, come on, let's go into that crystal store. We'd gone into Bateman's Bay for something. And so we're walking through the arcade, and there's a for lease sign on the crystal store door. It's not there anymore. It's like for lease, empty shop. I was like, no, that can't be. It was open the other day. There was no closing down sale. There was nothing. And on the right hand side, there was a crystal store. And so my friend said, well, maybe you've got it wrong. And I'm like, no, I've got a photographic memory. When I see something, this crystal store was here. It was on the left-hand side as you go through from Orient Street to Perry Street. I didn't even look at what store was on the right-hand side at the end. This store was on the left. Anyway, she said, oh, look, maybe you just weren't thinking. Anyway, I'm like, all right, let's go in. I'm open. Let's go in. So we went in. We had to walk around the store, and I'm like, no, the layout's different. The crystals are different. The person behind the counter is different. And no, it's not the right store. I knew it wasn't the right store. In my heart and soul, it was not the place I'd been in the week before. It wasn't. And I was adamant it was not. I didn't care if she called me crazy and other people looked at me as if I was crazy. I knew where I'd been and I knew what I had seen. But I couldn't answer why it was no longer there. Anyway, they laughed at me for weeks over this because I said, you know, and I went back every week that I went into Bateman's Bay. I'd walk back through that walk and nope, the for lease sign was up, that store was not there. Anyway, I had the business cards. I had the crystals. I didn't have a receipt because I didn't get one. Because she asked me if I wanted one and I said no. So I didn't have a receipt, which was a shame because that would have just been perfect as well. In fact, it might have even had the date on it, which would have even answered that question. Unfortunately, that bit I didn't have. Anyway, it was about a month later and we were in the shop and a woman came in and she said, oh, you know, a friend recommended to come in and have a look at your store. And so we were sitting chatting and she happened to mention a psychic medium who was on psychic TV that was in Bateman's Bay, who used to have a crystal store in Bateman's Bay. And I caught on to this and I said, so are you local? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, about a month ago, I went through this walk and the last shop on the left-hand side was a crystal store. Now, I know there's one on the right now, but this was on the left. And she said that store closed 3 years ago. And we were kind of da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Whoa. Okay, so somehow I had shifted something prior to 3 years to go into that crystal store. Can't explain it, other than I actually got in touch with the psychic medium who actually used to run the store. And I actually went into Bateman's Bay and went and met her because I told her what had happened. Told her, you know, that I had somehow transited time, gone through a wormhole, however you want to word it. Somehow I had stepped from current time back prior to 3 years to make a purchase in her store and then somehow transition back out again for whatever reason. And we've never actually worked out what that reason was. I mean, you know, as I say, I've met her. Other than, you know, the beautiful crystals I got, I still have no idea why it happened. I just know it did, and I'm still amazed. And maybe it was universe's way of saying to me, you know, this is to just show you again that time itself is not linear. It is multidimensional, and you know, you can transit between them, which I now do on purpose all the time. But that I'll do in another video. But yeah, so it was really, really interesting though to realise that I wasn't crazy. And so because my friend was there and she's like, that's amazing. And so it was actually really good that that lady came in and clarified that for us, because I would have never known, other than someone telling me I was crazy when I knew I wasn't, about, you know, going into this crystal store that for some reason had vanished. But it had actually been there 3 years before that. So we never worked out exactly what timing it would be, but it would have been between 2012 and 2014 that I had actually gone there and been in that store. So yeah, so it was really interesting. So I just thought I wanted to share that with you today. So yeah, anything is possible, and I didn't need a machine to do it. So yeah, it's a beautiful world we live in. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I look forward to sharing other stories with you soon. Okay, bye-bye.